Are you frustrated by Facebook ads? Have you tried them and you just can't get the results that you were hoping for? Or maybe you're worried because you know, given the state of the Facebook algorithm, that they're really critical at this point and you don't even know where to start. This video is going to be about the 6 biggest Facebook ads mistakes and how to fix them. My name is Liz Jostis and I own Eli Rose Social Media, and we work with small business owners and independent professionals on all of their online marketing needs. Facebook ads is definitely a pretty deep, pretty complex, just sort of tool concepts altogether. Once you get acquainted with it, it is actually very possible to get some really good traction, because even though ad costs are going up, it's still very affordable as far as just advertising. Different forms of advertising go kind of, just across the board. Facebook ads have tremendous targeting capabilities. Also, by utilizing the Facebook Pixel, you can do a lot of very specific, really, targeting, because you can capture and create audiences of people who have visited your website in total, specific pages on your website, that kind of a thing. So it's very powerful in that sense as well. So let's get started on those 6 biggest Facebook ads mistakes and how to fix them. So I would say probably the thing I run into first when I'm working with clients on their Facebook ad issues is they've only tried that blue boost button. And I tell you, I know it's there, it's blue. Facebook sends you those annoying notifications that says, for $10 more, reach out to 2,000 people. And they just want you to go ahead and click that button, obviously after putting in your credit card information. And a lot of times, people will say, yeah, well, I've tried ads and they haven't worked. And then as I dig further, it's because they've only ever used that boost button. That boost button is very limited in capabilities. There are times when boosts work well. And also, it's almost like after you've developed your Facebook ads history and presence and created those custom audiences, it's kind of like once you put the work in, it's easier to use the boost, because if the post makes sense from a standpoint that, which we'll talk about more in a second, that it's a good candidate for being a boost. Once you created those custom audiences, or you've saved audiences that you know work well, you can then select those custom audiences or saved audiences for that boost. However, when people are just getting started out, they try to use that Facebook boost button, and there's super limited capabilities as far as targeting goes, and they don't get anywhere. So the boost button is not the beginning and end of all the Facebook ad capabilities. So let's just start there. And kind of building from there would be the next biggest mistake, or I should say mistake number 2, this is in no particular order, is choosing the wrong ad objective. So Facebook knows a lot about user behavior. And Facebook knows the people who tend to watch a video and who tend to click like or share or leave a comment, or who tend to click links, or, you get the point. It knows, because we all spend ungodly amounts of time on the platform, what each of us tends to do. So within like our issue with the boost button, boosts are considered engagement ads, and engagement ads are ads that you would get someone who tends to click like or leave a comment or click share. So what I usually run into, which is combining point 1 and point 2, is that clients will do a boost on a post that includes a link, for example. So if you want to pair the action of someone who clicks a link to send them off of Facebook with an ad that's designed for people who tend to click like and comment, those two conflict. So that's where that mismatched ad objective and the desired outcome that you want for the ad, that's where that problem comes in. So if you use Facebook Ads Manager, you are presented with a whole bunch of options. It's like step 1. So like traffic ad is one option, engagement is another, video views is another, app installs, there's a whole bunch. Also, if you're doing stuff where you're wanting people to convert in some way, so say you have like an ebook download as an easy example. The conversion option is something that Facebook shows it to people who not just click the links, but also have a tendency to click the links and then complete whatever that conversion is on the landing page. So there's lots of options within there, and it's really just about making sure you're choosing the right objective for the action you want that user to take. So that will also take care of a lot of issues that I run into with clients. My third tip would be targeting too broadly. I talk with clients about this a lot, even just when we're kind of talking about their ideal customer. There could very well be people outside of your range of who your typical ideal customer is, whether it's age or gender, or it could be about a specific interest. They might say, well, I have this one client who's only 18, or I have these two clients that are 65. But if the vast majority of the people, just because age is an easy example, are like 30 to 50, that's who you need to be advertising to. Just because anyone could use your product doesn't mean that they're the greatest fit for your product, because you end up wasting money showing it to thousands of people who don't really have a good chance of ever becoming your ideal client or customer type. So that would just be one example. Also, if you want to look for people who really like exercise or something, if you just choose very broad topics like exercise or fitness or weight loss or diet, there's like millions and millions of people in that audience. But for you, maybe it's people who tend to belong to a gym, and you want to instead target pages like, the big retail gym chains that are around. Or instead of just exercise, maybe it's people who like yoga more specifically. So there's just truly countless ways to target. So what I find is, people are just like, oh, well, men and women ages 18 to 65, any of them could be. And that's not going to work. That's just not going to work. So if you're targeting too broadly, it's not going to be effective for you. Your ad costs are going to go up. You're not going to get the action that you're desiring from that ad. So that's often, another common ad mistake that I see. So biggest ad mistake number 4 is not looking back at those analytics. So as your ad is running, and for all previous ads that you've run, there's data there that you can look at. You can see what kind of actions, what kind of like the frequency, number of times the ad was shown, if people are clicking on links, if they're just engaging with your post, if they're following through and making it to your landing page. You can look at it, based on how it was delivered, like by if it's desktop or mobile. You can look at things like by age breakdown and gender breakdown, or age and gender. There's now more specific regional breakdowns. For a long time, the locations, when you looked at your ad breakdown, was just like by country. But now you can do it even like they have like DMA region, for example. So if you are advertising not just in your local area, you can get some more specific data there. So by looking at the data, it helps you refine your targeting for future ads. So for example, you might say that realistically in your brick and mortar, you see people who are 30 to 55 years old, and they're both men and women. But maybe when you run your ad and you start there, and then you look at the data, you might find that even though those are your ideal customers, the ones who are actually responding to your ad fit in like the 30 to 45 range or 30 to 40 range, instead of all the way up to 55. So it's not that you would be cutting out people who are your clients. It's more about knowing who is responsive to the ads that you're running on Facebook. The 5th biggest ad mistake would be you're running your ad for too short a period of time. Facebook more recently has put the notation in, if you're checking your ads when they're running, that it's a learning phase. Facebook says that it kind of tries to test out people within your audience in those first few days of it running to see which types of people respond the best. So if you turn your ad off too soon, or you make some kind of judgments about what is or isn't working for your ad, after just like a day or two, it could end up being a really bad call because you haven't gotten out of that learning phase and sort of stabilized what those ad results are. So you don't want to be making any kind of determinations on ads unless you know those ads have reached some kind of stable level. So The sixth biggest ad mistake that I would say, this will be our last one, is that you're not utilizing custom audiences. So custom audiences are an even more powerful tool than just, the basic targeting that you have, for cold audiences. Basically with custom audiences, they're warm audiences. You can create a custom audience of everyone in your email list, for example. You can do a website custom audience of just all website visitors. I have a custom audience of everyone who visited certain blog posts. You can create audiences like, say, if you sell online, you can track things like people who added to cart but then didn't visit the thank you page. So then you can remarket just to those people who were like really close to buying and you know that they liked what you had to offer, but for some reason they didn't pull the trigger. You can advertise to, you can create custom audiences. This is sort of separate from the pixel, but you can create custom audiences of people who have viewed your videos that you've uploaded to Facebook. And you can even designate like people who've viewed at least 25% of your video, or at least 50% of your video, or at least 75% of your video. You also can create page engagement audiences. And those are audiences of people who have just engaged with your page in some way. So there are so many ways to utilize custom audiences. And they tend to end up working better because with those audiences, they're people who have some kind of awareness of your brand already versus somebody who's completely just unaware of you and would really just qualify as being, someone in a cold audience. So again, just to recap, those 6 biggest ad mistakes for your Facebook ads account would be only using the boost button, choosing the wrong ad objective, targeting your ads too broadly, not looking at your analytics to see how things are working and see, how you can improve your future ads, running your ad for too short a period of time, and not utilizing those custom audiences. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below, and you all have a good rest of your day. Bye.